All right then everyone, we're now going to look at our last three chapters of this book. These last three chapters are all around Asian or Eastern sounding scales, and I'm really excited to bring you these because they're going to give you totally different sounds to bring in your playing, possibly different to anything you've played before. The first one we're going to have a look at is called the Iwato Pentatonic, and it's a really fun sound. I've used it with distortion, but you can use these of course with clean sounds, and of course make your own different tones and different licks from this book as well. This one goes with the static root backing track. In fact, all these last three chapters work well over that, because then you can just be as creative as you want. That's basically just your blank canvas, and this we're just going to pop different colours over the top of it. Let's go and have a look at example one. Okay, there was example one around our E shape of this Iwato pentatonic. As you can tell here, we're using octaves. Now, octaves are an incredibly fun way to beef up a single note sound. So what I did for this riff is I wrote a very simple single note riff, and then I just added in the octave above it and added in some slides and a rhythmic groove, and there we got that little theme. Very simple, sounds really cool over the backing track, more of a riff than a lick really, but it's a principle you can apply to all your different scales, is doubling up the same note by having it an octave above. Really effective, really cool double stop octave ideas. Let's go and have a look at example two. Alright, there was our example two based around the D shape of our Iwato pentatonic. This lick, the first two bars starts off with a very melodic theme with some nice slow bends and things like that. And then we've got some string skipped picked licks with legato. 10-6 on the top E, 8-7 on the G string, and then 10-6 on the fifth string, and then back through that again. That takes a little bit of practice, and really fun way to break up your licks, not always playing on adjacent strings. You just start string skipping and you start sounding like Paul Gilbert. So that's quite fun, a really fun way as well. And Marty Friedman is a fantastic person to check out for these kind of Eastern sounding licks. Go and have a look at some of his stuff on YouTube. Totally awesome, totally different sounding technique as well. Let's go and have a look at example three. Right, that was our example three. This lick here, a little bit different again, because we've introduced a two-tone bend. Now that is a bit tricky and will take some work. I first came across the two-tone bend in Stairway to Heaven, but guys like Gilmour, Jimmy Page were doing this stuff. So I recommend if you're going to be doing this sort of technique a lot, that you have quite a light string gauge, because if you guys are using 11s or something like that, your fingers are going to hurt if you're going to be doing this for a long, unless you're Stevie Ray Vaughan type strength. So when you're bending that 8th fret there on the G string, you're going to essentially be bending it to the 12th fret there to repeat that note again. Take some time practicing two-tone bends to really get the strength right up there and copy my technique. Yeah. The rest of the lick, just some simple hammer-ons and pull-offs, a nice big fat slide on the end to keep it melodic. Really nice lick, two-tone bend. Let's move on to example 4. In terms of classic rock, there's something incredibly satisfying about doing a descending triplet pattern, which is quite legato, using sort of hammer-ons and pull-offs type thing. And this example uses just exactly that, using our position 4 of our A Iwato pentatonic. This is incredibly satisfying, and after a while you'll start to flash down this one, diddler, 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 triplets. As I've said before, using a little word to count these different rhythmic groupings can be really fun. I always use the word elephant when I use triplets. Elephant, 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 but any 3-syllable word will work. Strawberry, you know, anything like that, even triplet, you know, if you want to say it like that. I always use elephant because it's an easy one to remember, and all ages from kids up to adults will remember elephant as their triplet. So when you're picking through that, just keep in your mind, keeping it consistent with that rhythm. Elephant, 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 etc. So let's move on to the final lick and this first of our Asian chapters, the position 5. Okay, here's our example 5. I call this lick If Django Went to Japan. So basically what I mean by that is Django Reinhardt was famous for so many things as a gypsy jazz player. But one thing that he used a lot was hammer on, pull off, slide back 1 fret, and then slide back to where you are. Now this sounds complicated, but it really isn't. You're going to hammer 2 to 3, pull off back to 2, slide back to 1, slide back to 2. And you could apply this to any set of note groupings, instantly sound like a gypsy jazz superstar. And for those of you who are sort of more rock metal players, even guys like Sinister Gates for Avenged Sevenfold has been quoted as saying that Django Reinhardt is one of his heroes. So you can incorporate this into any different style, from jazz right through to rock metal. So yeah, try using that in all your different things. The end of the lick is a very simple little single string picking, bending lick, but the real core technique of this is the hammer on, pull off, slide slide, as I like to call it. Nice catchy name there for you. So we're going to go and have a look at our next Asian pentatonic chapter just after this.